sheet, somebody. Oh, right here. Thank you, Bob. This is public session. All of you don't come to all these meetings. This is really the opportunity for people to be heard. It's not really the opportunity to get a lot of back and forth with the board. The board's not going to take any action based upon what is at an open public session. It's not an agenda item. We do want to hear what you have to say, but we're not going to be real long about it, and we're not going to be real cumulative, but we certainly need to give everybody the opportunity to be heard. Just get up and tell us who you are and what your connection is with the issue, and then tell us why you're mad. Most of them, I think, are. Lloyd, you're first.
Thank you. My name is Lloyd Cox. I'm here representing a group of people behind me here. I've got just a statement here that was written up, so to make it a little quicker. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of the request of the group behind me. This group represents the majority of towing companies here in Franklin. Tonight, we would like to bring to your attention the ongoing situation regarding how towing companies are dispatched when there is an accident inside the city limits of Franklin. Over the last 2 years, the majority of us have experienced a huge drop in the amount of tow calls we receive from the 911 center in town. Over the same period of time, one particular tow company has received a large increase in their number of calls. We have obtained copies of towing dispatch records from December 4th, 2010 through February 1st, 2012. The printout shows how many calls each tow company has received during this period of time. Franklin Body Shop has received 48 calls. Drake's Towing has received 41 calls. Davis Towing has received 32 calls. Ambassador Automotive, which is our company, has received 31 calls. Marched Recovery and Collision, 25 calls. James Paint and Body, 34 calls. Nathan's Paint and Body, 76 calls. These numbers only reflect the tow calls that were issued through dispatch and does not include calls made directly to Nathan's Paint and Body by cell phone or verbal contact at the scene. You may be thinking, what's the big deal about one company getting more calls? A tow call runs about $150 minimum. The initial tow is only the beginning of most calls. The people behind me own body shops and repair shops. These calls represent the opportunity to repair the damaged vehicle. Typically, insurance companies award the repair to the shop where the vehicle is towed rather than increase the cost of the repair by paying another tow charge to have the vehicle moved to another shop. These calls represent hundreds of thousands of dollars in repairs. Dollars needed for these body shops and repair shops to provide their families and pay employees and continue doing business in Franklin. We feel that Nathan's Paint and Body is getting these calls for different reasons. He's a volunteer fireman. He is notified immediately when there's a traffic accident and many times responds to the scene of the accident either in his tow truck with his company name on it or in his service vehicle with his company name on it, giving his tow company immediate exposure to the person needing a tow truck. As a firefighter, which we commend him for being, he is automatically placed on the position of trust in the customer's eyes and easily chosen if asked if the customer has a towing company preference. As a volunteer firefighter on the scene with a tow truck, it's easier for a police officer to appoint this tow company to tow away the disabled vehicle. The scene is cleared quicker, and the officer can get back to his regular duties quicker. Nathan Hersey, owner of Nathan's Paint and Body, has a brother that's also an EMT who also works as a tow truck driver for Nathan at times. Allowing a tow company owner, relative, or employee to work an accident scene puts that one towing company at advantage over the other towing companies. The customer may be approached for their business, seeing a lettering on a vehicle leading the customer to assume that this towing company is the choice for the situation. Allowing a towing company owner, relative, or employee to work an accident scene as a first responder also allows that one towing company to create friendships that may steer business in their direction. The towing companies behind me can relay accounts where their towing customers were denied the request for their tow trucks and were told their vehicle was being towed by Nathan's Paint and Body. I have a notarized statement from one of Ambassador's customers stating that he requested Ambassador Automotive and was denied that the vehicle be recovered and towed by Nathan's Paint and Body, which I do have with me if you need to see it. We also have listed an accident information on police. We all have listened to accident information on police scanners where the words owner's request was never heard, and were never mentioned. No towing company was called, but the vehicle or all the vehicles were towed by Nathan's Paint and Body, indicating Nathan's Paint and Body was already at the scene. We have eyewitness accounts of several occasions where Nathan's Paint and Body was at the scene of an accident, no other record company was called, and these vehicles were towed by his company. Also, after reviewing 911 records, it seems unrealistic that a driver from Georgia, South Carolina, Missouri, California would make an owner's request for Nathan's Paint and Body rather than the next rotation record. When one tow company is shown preference, it may seem harmless, but it hurts many others. The victim at the scene is taken advantage of, and free trade is restricted. To be replaced on rotation lists for 911, the city and the county, towing companies are informed they must meet North Carolina Highway Patrol criteria. In other words, if you're on rotation with the Highway Patrol, you can be placed on 911 record rotation with the city and county. Also, if you are removed from the Highway Patrol rotation for any reason, you are also removed from the 911 rotation. The city and the county, in essence, are using the Highway Patrol as a guide. The Highway Patrol directive states, and I have their directive right here, probably for Mr. Henry to look at, that you can't have a financial interest. I can read it here, but I'll move on. I'll give a copy of it to you. Each of our companies have made the changes to remain profitable during difficult and economic times. Expenses have been cut, prices adjusted, new marketing strategies applied, employees have been laid off, and equipment has been sold. We have one member here tonight who has sold 2 of his own wreckers and laid off 4 of his employees, partially due to what's going on with this towing thing. We've got another company here tonight who told me today that they're making a choice as to whether to pay the power bill or pay their rent payments. They've also had to lay off help and get rid of equipment. These are difficult enough times without the hardship of losing the market share due to customers being influenced to trade with one certain tow company, or authority figures manipulating a situation for a friend in the towing business. A vehicle accident is a very frightening experience if any of you have ever been in one. Even when there are no injuries, the person in the accident is upset and scared. This is not the time for an officer, firefighter, or EMT to take advantage of someone by influencing them to make a decision that profits someone they know. What we're asking tonight is that you each review the material provided and take the necessary steps to adopt and enforce an ordinance regarding towing dispatch like the North Carolina Highway Patrol, including the following. Only an officer at the scene may communicate with dispatch regarding the vehicle owner's operator's request regarding a tow company, either a specific company requested by the company or next rotation. Mandatory use of a form detailing which tow company was called for each incident. The Franklin Police Department, I believe, has one, and they're pretty good about filling it out. We also would like to prohibit a towing company owner, relatives, and employees from working or volunteering with any emergency service and operate a record too. It's a conflict of interest. This will restore the fairness and impartiality for all. Now, I have the Highway Patrol rules right here. I believe Mr. Henning would probably be the best one to give this to. Here. And here's the picture. I also have the 911 dispatch calls right here. I've got enough of them printed out for everyone here to go through. And you can go down through there and see that if it was rotation, there wouldn't be 3 calls within 15 minutes for Nathan's Paint and Body if it was being rotated. There's not a sign where a lot of them don't say owner's request. They just show one right after the other going to Nathan's Paint and Body. We're not here to bash Nathan's Paint and Body. We're here to get this straightened out so everybody can get a fair share of this. Here's some letters from some of the towing companies here tonight that I would like for each one of you to read when you have time, and it expresses their concern about being able to stay in business in Macon County at the rate things are going. Now, here is the information we received from the 911 center. These first batch of right here are all requests for Nathan's Paint and Body. I've been in business in Franklin for 10 years in the towing business. I average 2 to 3 owner request calls a year. These are the amount of owner request calls that Nathan Paint and Body received from the December that I took the dates till now. There's nowhere, it's just not realistic that one company can get that many owners requests when you have all these other record companies out here put together don't get half of them in owners requests. Now, here's a copy of the affidavit, and I'm sure some of you gentlemen know the man who signed this. It says right here, to whom it may concern, my name is Lou Vitale. On or about July 2nd, 2010, I arrived at my apartment building as a result of an auto accident. A car had fallen off the raised parking area. I arrived while the Franklin Fire Department and Franklin Police Department were still on the scene. I asked if Ambassador Automotive could be called to perform the recovery. I was told no. We have called next rotation. About 10 or 15 minutes later, Nathan's Paint and Body arrived at the scene. So what we're asking is that you guys would just get together, ladies and gentlemen, and come up and adopt the Highway Patrol rotation rules. And if they're followed, we won't be back here. It's very simple. The Highway Patrol has no problem when it comes to towing vehicles. If you show up at a scene uncalled for, you get reprimanded. You get reprimanded more than twice, you are taken off the Highway Patrol rotation list. They don't mess around. And that's all we're asking is the town of Franklin to adopt the same policies that that the Macon County, that the North Carolina Highway Patrol passed. I believe that one other guy up here, here's what I was hunting earlier, I left it here. Here's what it says, just in two paragraphs, the Highway Patrol. No member of the patrol or any of its civilian employees shall hold any financial interest or in any form ownership interest in any record service. No member may be employed by a record service, nor shall any member be assigned to a county where any relative of the member has a financial interest in or is employed by the record service. For the purpose of this rule, the relative includes, and they got clear down, they went from mother, father, sister, brother, also included the term relatives are step, half, and in-laws relationships. It says right here, in order to perform its traffic safety functions, the patrol is required to use record services to tow disabled vehicles, seized, wrecked, or abandoned vehicles. Members of the patrol shall assure that the impartial use of record services through the strict compliance with these rules. In no event shall any patrol member recommend any record service, motor club, or automobile membership service to the owner or driver of a wrecked or disabled vehicle. Nor shall any member recommend the services of a particular record service, motor club, or automobile membership in the performance of his or her duties. Members shall, whenever possible, particularly of us and practical, dispatch the record service requested by the motorist requiring such services. It's simple. And like I said, if it can be adopted, maybe these guys, some of these people will be able to stay in business, but at the rate it's going, some of them are living week to week, whereas what we used to have was a profitable business, is not happening anymore. My trucks have set so long that the batteries run dead end. Some people don't realize that the cost of a tow truck, if you went out and bought a new rollback, which is the flatbed that rolls back and picks up the car, the average cost is anywhere from $80,000 to $150,000. If you buy a small wrecker, which is four-wheel drive, which you need around here, if you go out and buy a new one, the average cost is $150,000. If you buy a large wrecker like I've got, or even bigger, they can run as much as anywhere from $200,000 to $1 million. And we can't stay in business when we're having this unfair treatment. We just can't do it. And that's all we're asking is someone to adopt this and treat us fairly. And I appreciate you all listening to me tonight.
Good presentation, boy.
Thank you.
Mr. Owen, somebody about the lawyer?
Yeah. We'll let Walter.
Let Walter do that? All right, come on up, Walter.
Sure enough.
Sure, why not?
I too have compiled my information from the reports that we received on Thursday and Friday. And that's sort of short term, but this is some information. This is what I've come to speak about. Let's have a graph on it. Third page. Let you view of it. I'm here to represent my business, Walter Hunter, Franklin Body Shop. I've been in business for 42 years in Franklin. I'm here tonight because there is a problem with the assignment of rotation calls for the towing in Franklin. I'm here before the board is not because of any conflict or vendetta or personal feelings. I'm being in business at the body shop for that long, 42 years. I find myself in a position of losing business, not because of any wrongdoing on my part, but in my opinion, because of actions of Nathan Kersey, owner of Nathan's Painting Body and Towing Service, while he serves in the capacity of a volunteer fireman and a tow truck operator. Nathan was employed at my shop for several years before he went into business for himself. Nathan left without any hard feelings on either side, and I have continued to have a professional friendship with him since he left. As far as I know, we're still on good terms professionally with each other. Customarily, towing services are called to the accident on a rotation basis. This procedure allows every regular opportunity to earn a living. The exception is when the vehicle's owner requests a particular service. Each owner, of course, as regular customers, request their towing service. Those who have no preference are referred to the next company in rotation. North Carolina Highway Patrol is very impartial, always using the rotation method. In my opinion, Nathan's association with the fire department, Franklin Fire Department, as volunteer, has led to him being able to solicit business at the scene of the accidents. When an accident occurs, volunteer firemen appear, who also owns the towing service. It's only natural for the people involved in that accident to be easily persuaded to use Nathan's towing service rather than call for the next rotation tow truck. I understand the association Nathan has with the firemen. Nathan's made many friends. This friendship leads me to conclude that the drivers from Tupelo, Mississippi, Cummins, Georgia, Valley Park, Missouri would not have had the owner's request for Nathan's towing service unless someone had seen the accident that suggested. The financial ramifications of this action affects my business more than just meaning losing a $150 tow call. My company has potential to make money from the storage of the vehicles as well as making repairs on the wrecked vehicles. Each towing company is worth each towing service is worth a minimum of $150 up to a maximum of several $1,000s. Some of the accidents run $10,000. Some of them run $20,000. And one in Macon County is over $30,000 last year. That's a lot of money. The 8 people that I employ and their families depend on my company to get a fire shake. I personally know 2 incidents involving the fire department when Nathan responded as a fireman and ended up towing without a dispatch call for his tow truck. This could only happen if he has solicited the towing for himself because he is already there as a fireman, or if a police or fire department person in charge okayed the towing. There are 2 blank reports and no CAD reports on these incidents. There's no information on that he towed the vehicles. The accidents took place July 18th and October 1st of last year. If my tow truck had not also responded to these accidents, I would have no knowledge of this, since there is no paper trail to follow. There's high probability that this has happened many more times. As I researched and compiled the data I received on last Thursday and Friday from the dispatch office, I became very aware there's no obvious explanation for the skewed distribution of tow calls unless there is involvement for other sources. If there is a problem with any towing service that results in reluctance to use that company, those concerns should be addressed with individual company. Perceived problems should not be used as an excuse to give any company an unfair advantage. The only solution to this problem is use the rotation method strictly and fairly. Also, since I believe where it's obvious a conflict of interest. I think Nathan should only respond to the accidents as a fireman or as a tow truck operator who waits on a dispatch call. He should not be allowed to serve in both capacities. He's been known to go to an accident as a fireman and leave towing both the vehicles. Please think on these issues and make a decision that levels the playing field and is fair for all involved. Please let me know your decision.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you. I've got some names here. Keith,
I let Lord take my time.
Mark,
Same thing.
Lyman, something Smith, and Dave's towing, Davis towing.
Davis Stone. I gave Lloyd and Walter my time too.
All right.
Agree with you.
Anybody else, or what has two of the elder statesmen in the business spoken it well for the group?
That's right.
Okay, hate not to give it any attention on, because we're here, we're all here.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Mr. Cox,
Yes, sir.
you and I have talked about this before.
Right.
I looked into it.
Mm-hmm.
All the allegations tonight have been made towards the town.
Yeah, we've got a meeting.
I went through, I just found out about this. I went through all the calls, and quite a few were made by sheriff's deputies. How do you answer to that?
We're going to meet with the county commissioners next Tuesday night.
All right, good.
We need to be,
Because I don't like to be singled out.
You're not being singled out. All of us are
I
being.
felt like it tonight.
No, no.
Okay,
no,
I'm
no.
glad to hear that.
No, we're not,
because-
no, we have a meeting also with the county commissioners, and if you saw Channel 13 tonight.
I did.
Okay, did you see where Robbie Holland denied knowing anything about this?
I did, and I didn't see that the news
He didn't
media,
deny, he's here, he can defend himself.
I did not see any indication, and I called WLS
Mhm.
and said there may be another side to this story.
Mhm.
They made no attempt to get back with me. It
Well,
was an
they left,
unbalanced story.
they left
Again.
our place and Nate gave Nathan Hersey the opportunity to speak to them. Evidently, he declined.
All right.
We, all of us sitting back here, have the proof that we brought to you tonight that this is happening.
And I want to look at that. I've looked at some of it, but I only had about an hour to look into it today.
Well, we're not gonna take any action about it.
I know, but I'm going to make a motion that we do.
Well,
That's what we're asking for.
Not tonight.
Mhm. No, I know
But there
that.
have been some serious allegations thrown around tonight.
And these allegations we have supplied you all with proof of it tonight.
And we have not had an opportunity to
Right.
see it yet.
Right.
And I want an opportunity
Well,
to see it.
Mr. Henning has got it, I believe I've seen, he's got, but I mean, you can see right on these calls that came from the 911 dispatch where Nathan's Paint and Body was called owner's request. We tried to get a hold of these people, that most of them that said owner's request, no phone numbers existed, or the addresses that were given on the dispatch, these people were not even at that
Well, one
address.
of the forms that you just gave me,
Lula Talley.
or that you gave us, does not say what officers called. It's this right here.
No, but what Mr. Henning's got.
And
does.
those are screen captures.
Yes, those are the cabs.
That's correct.
I believe,
Screen
Todd,
captures.
I think there's someone here from 911 Dispatch that could probably explain to you what those are.
Well, I've looked at it.
Okay.
I've looked at it.
Fair enough. Who else? Robbie, yeah, go ahead. Talk to us.
Okay, I'll try to be brief.
Sheriff Holland, for those you don't know.
First of all, I'd like to apologize that this has been brought to your attention. It's something that I think that the chief, as well as myself and the fire chief, could have addressed. Back in end of 2009, I was made aware of problems that were going on through the rumor mill. And Mr. Scott, I couldn't agree with you more tonight. Believe that or not, I can't agree with you more.
I don't.
Secondly, it was brought to my attention through the rumor mill. I tried to address it through the rumor mill. I finally had some individuals who were tow companies contact me, brought it to my attention. As far as I'm concerned, concrete. I started looking into it. We implemented a new policy. I sent out a letter to a couple of those individuals, and I also spoke with some of the other tow companies and let them know of the new policy. and let them know about the letter that I'd sent. In that letter, it specifically says, this issue has been addressed. We implemented a new policy. From this point forward, if there's any other concerns, you have any other complaints, please bring it to my attention. I cannot fix it unless I know about it. Friday afternoon, I heard through the rumor mill again that there was an ongoing problem through one of our county commissioners. Got a phone call that he was going to be coming to this meeting today to complain about the town, about the fire department, the police department, as well as the sheriff's department. That's the first knowledge that I have. As a professional in our community, if I have a problem with anybody in your establishment within the town, I'm going to go to them and I'm going to give them the opportunity to sit down with me and discuss that. The only thing that I will close with tonight, I apologize that I was on WLOS about the record service. They came to me about a murder-suicide. During that interview, they popped the question about Lloyd had called us, we're fixing to go with him, what can you tell us about the records? I will be happy to meet with you as I have told you in the past. You have seen me plenty of times in restaurants, as well as some of the others. My phone number is in the phone book. You know where my office is. I welcome you or anybody else that's in the record business. If you have a problem, please contact me and we will try to address it and try to fix it. I can't agree with some of the things more than what you said. I have the utmost respect for Nathan as well as many of the other tow truck drivers. There's none of you in here that I have more respect for than Walter Hunter. He's been in business a long time. And we had a meeting because of the rumor mill, simply because of the rumor mill, and I had no concrete evidence to go on. I had a meeting this afternoon with all of my command staff, my patrol sergeants, my lieutenant, my supervisors, my corporals, my FTOs, and Mr. Hunter was one of the individuals that I said that it's not fair if this is happening. I don't know if this is happening until I'm able to look into it and to address it. My point is this, I will be happy to look into it. I will be happy to report back to you, just as your police chief would or your fire chief would. If I have been given the opportunity to look into it, I will be more than happy to. All they have to do is bring it to my attention and I will do so.
Don't all the departments need to be on the same page on this?
Absolutely. I mean, to make things easy, that's how it should be. When it comes right down to it, Mr. Mayor, I do not have to follow the Highway Patrol's policy. The only reason that I have tried to follow that policy, and I've requested my officers and demanded my officers to follow that policy, is because I think it's the ethically correct thing to do and the right thing to do for all the businesses. And that's what we have tried to do. Until Friday afternoon, I knew of no problems because I made it very clear to not all the record service, the ones that were complaining before. So I apologize to the other ones that may be here complaining tonight because I never had an opportunity to talk with them because I knew of no problem. The ones that we had a problem with before, I have either spoken to or they have received my letter.
Good.
I've just got one question I would like to ask Robbie here in front of everybody.
Just make it brief.
Okay, it's just what it's, do you feel like it's ethical for you to endorse one certain record company on your Facebook where you endorse
Wait, we're
Nathan's?
not going there.
I just wanted to ask that question.
We're not going there. No, we're not here for that tonight.
I think it's a valid question.
Okay, I'd like to answer that. I'd like to answer that, but it's
This
simply.
is not town business. This is not
I
town
beg your
business,
pardon.
right?
We've had allegations made against the town tonight.
I don't-
Serious allegations.
I don't sense that they think the town is really doing anything mentally wrong. I think they're saying we're letting the situation kind of that we didn't really don't have any real reason to know much about. They're saying possibly the situation is there that we might can remedy it. They're not saying that we were directing people to Nathan or anybody else. They're not saying we were telling the dispatcher to change it. They're just telling us as a
Well, for the record,
situation.
the
Let's
Franklin
give the
Police
sheriff a
Department
chance.
does
Is there
comply
an
with the
endorsement on
rules.
Facebook? You
What
have an endorsement on your Facebook?
No, what it is it's a page just like many businesses, some of your businesses here that they have a Facebook page and it says like. It just says like. And then that's something that you like. You like Nathan's Tow.
You have
And
private
absolutely.
businesses on your
That's-
Facebook?
I have several private businesses.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Sam, what do we need to be doing on this one?
Go to the next item on the agenda.
Thank you all.
I would tell you that I probably will see that we get hopefully the chief of police and the fire chief and whoever we need to, because if there is an imbalance there that we can work on, then we're gonna do it.
Thank you.
And we have been continually talking with the fire chief, and I haven't personally spoken to Mr. Bradley, but I have personally spoken to Danny Bates, I think it's the assistant chief,
Okay.
recently, within the last few months,
All right.
about different situations. And I mean, we have all called and complained to everybody numerous times, including Rodney. I mean,
And you handled yourself well tonight, I appreciate you coming in. We're gonna be at recess in about 2 minutes, that way if you slip out, you won't be embarrassing each other.
Would you want to say the difference in my Jeep, but it's not like.